All right, Coach, another game in the books for the Rail Splitters last night. Probably the craziest game of the season, I would say. 102 to 101 double overtime victory at Anderson. Obviously, a lot to digest from that game. We can get into some of the individual performances that made it happen, but what were your takeaways from that performance?
Well, I thought it was a difficult game. I thought we had some guys really step up and make some terrific plays in the offensive end. You go into regulation, and we had some really good Scoot had a 3-point play to give us the lead by 2. Anthony Brown's tip in was a tremendous play there on Alex's miss to send the game into overtime. Alex's play at the end of overtime, the shot fake, get in the lane, and then make a little floater right there to send it to double overtime. And then I thought, really early in double overtime, we actually had some really good offensive possessions. Cavassier made a big 3, got the rim some, got fouled. We seemed like we had moved it out to a comfortable margin, and then the last play there, Rondi Hackett, Scoot pulls up and misses a 3, and Rondi's behind 2 guys. He just really went after the rebound, moved through both of them, gets the offensive rebound, sticks it back in. So a lot of clutch plays on the offensive end, and like I told you last night, we needed those because we were atrocious defensively. And so Anderson obviously has some really good offensive players, and Ellis and Bernard and Boughton and Shaw, etc. And they do a great job. They get downhill. Jeff puts them in good situations, and I thought coming out of Queens, we wanted to see improvement in different areas. We wanted to compete better. We certainly wanted to tighten up defensively. We wanted to be more aggressive and collective on the offensive end, because I thought when we encountered some adversity against Queens, we kind of folded our tents at that point. We didn't handle it and respond appropriately. And I thought the same thing kind of happened last night. We get down 13 in the first half, and you could see we were kind of stumbling a little bit and staggering a little bit. And then I thought we kind of righted the ship and buckled up and hit back, and that was good to see. But on a night where you shoot 9 for 32 from the 3-point line, and you miss 16 free throws, and you miss a ton of layups at the rim, we were able to win a game on our competitiveness. It doesn't obscure the fact that we've got a long way to go, but I was proud that at least we fought, and then we had some guys step up and make some good plays. And I did think offensively we showed some strides, even though it doesn't necessarily show in our shooting percentages. I thought we generated really good looks. We were aggressive, attacked the rim. The one area it did show itself in was 51 free throw attempts.
Yeah, so now you get to thankfully settle in home for the next little stretch. 4 straight games at home where we've been awesome. Not particularly an easy schedule at home, but it is 4 straight games at home. So how are you looking at that opportunity?
Well, I think it's good to be back always in Tex. We have played better at home. I hate that because I think that's the sign of a pretty mentally weak team, that your performance is dictated on where you play and the circumstances, environment, and all that stuff. But hopefully that won't be the case all year. If it is, we have a very low ceiling because we're going to play 14 home and 14 road. So at the end of the day, we're going to have to figure out how to play better away from home, and just being here doesn't guarantee anything. But we do, like you said, have a 4-game stretch. I'm really looking at it, obviously, this weekend, turn around and play a excellent Wingate team that's one of 3 unbeatens in the league with Queens and Catawba. Brian's got an outstanding team, and we're going to have a very quick turnaround, both physically and mentally. I think we expended a lot of energy last night in both capacities. I think we expended a lot of mental energy and certainly a lot of physical energy. And so making sure that we get to Saturday, fresh legs, clear mind is going to be a challenge, but our guys have to prepare well to have a chance to have any level of success. I think Wingate's one of those teams, similar with Anderson and the group of others that are, right there. The league is pretty competitive, I think, across the board, and pretty balanced. So I think they're every bit as good or better than in terms of what we had to do last night, and certainly want to play probably at a higher level to have a chance to be successful on Saturday.
Going back to that Anderson game, you had already kind of talked about this, but obviously a similar situation to that Queens game where you get down, but you saw your team respond and obviously come through in a lot of high pressure packed situations. So how do you think that experience of that game might benefit the team down the road?
Well, I think just going through things with this team, there's so many young guys and new pieces that every game is a learning experience. And I think you and I talked about this going to Carson Newman, that we're very much a work in progress. We've not been very good at this point. I don't know if we will be. People think, it's going to turn around. There's no guarantees that it turns around, but we had to have some level of success while we're making progress. I mean, you have to figure out a way to win, and it's not discounting last night at all, because I think Anderson's a quality team. I mean, they were undefeated at home. They played Queens, obviously very tough, lost by 2 at Queens. Jeff's got a senior-laden team with really good players. And so, to win, not discounting that at all, but we have to play at a much higher level. We haven't played very good basketball consistently on both ends of the floor to this stage, this stage of the year. And we've had stretches. I think our peaks have been really good. When we've played good basketball, I think we look really good, and we've had some times here at home, some games at home, the Carson-Newman game for the most part, and even the Coker game for the most part, where we performed at a really high level, but our valleys are pretty deep. But the biggest thing I think we take from this experience, hopefully, is when you look at the Queens game, kind of the same thing happened. We fell behind. We're up 6-0. They go on a 15-0 run. We kind of steady the ship, and it's a 1-point game with 2 minutes to go in the first half. They make a run, and we kind of have a couple breakdowns offensively. They make some tough shots on their end, and we go down to half, down 11. Second half, we come out, we cut it to 8 with about 19 to go, and then from there, they hit us with a 9-0 run, and we never responded. I thought we deflated and kind of went away, and not that we would have won the game, but we didn't compete. I thought we stopped, our defense. We gave in offensively. We just started kind of jacking up, hang dribble threes or driving it in on the first side and getting our shot blocked. And everybody kind of, not from a bad place, but either a lack of awareness or just trying to kind of save the day themselves, but played horrible offense and let our guard down, lost our edge defensively. I thought last night, when presented almost the same exact circumstance, we didn't fold. We always talk about adversity, not blinking, not flinching. I thought last night we showed some mental fortitude to kind of rally our way back in. And then, like you said, we had to make a number of big plays. Really, Anderson controlled the game. I mean, we had to rally back to tie it, to send it to overtime. We had to rally back to tie it, to send a double overtime. There was a lot we were the one trailing, having to make plays down the stretch. And to our guys' credit, they were able to do that. We would have made things a lot easier on ourselves had we not been a sieve defensively, but that's part of it. We've got to, it's going to be difficult. We have some challenges offensively, and I don't know that that'll change. I thought last night, we generated pretty good looks. Guys were driving it. Guys were getting, we were breaking the paint. Guys were certainly looking for one another. I thought we made better rim decisions. I thought we generated pretty good looks from 3, and we were 9 for 32, and we got the line, and we missed 16 free throws. We missed numerous layups. I don't know that those things, those no one's missing on purpose. Those things may or may not change as the year goes on. We got a lot of young guys. We got some guys that are returning, and we just don't have offensively what we've had. But you can't do that and then not be great defensively. And there's not a secret. There's really, if you want to be great defensively, you got to be great in transition. You got to be great keeping the ball to paint. You got to be great in terms of positional awareness and in terms of your communication and covering for one another when breakdowns happen, whether it's action or drives or whatever the case may be. And then you got to close possessions with rebounds. And we've got to improve in all those areas. I don't know offensively. We got to, as long as we're working and guys are playing together and we're working to get great shots, you got to have faith that they're going to go. But the defensive end is where I think we can take some steps and have some growth and really kind of help ourselves to become a better team, because ultimately, where we are is not good enough at the moment relative to the competition, the league, and how good the league is for us to compete for anything of significance.
Talk a little bit more about Saturday's matchup against Wingate. We talked about this a little bit off camera. They're playing a lot faster than they have in past years, hitting a lot of three-pointers. Marco Haskins is obviously having a tremendous start to his junior season, I should say. So just talk about the Wingate Bulldogs.
No, Brian's really overhauled that system, and offensively. Now defensively, they're still a Brian Good Wingate team. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. They still rebound the ball at a high level. I think I want to say they had 20 offensive rebounds or 21 against Carson-Newman. They still pound the offensive glass. They're big across the board. They've got really good size. But offensively, they've gone to much more of a space and fire threes, and they're leading the league in three-pointers made per game, and they're shooting over 40% from three. So it's really difficult. When you look at that, not only are they high volume in terms of the amount of threes they get up, but their efficiency is through the roof. So when you're making 12 threes a game and you're shooting over 40%, it's obviously a good formula for success. Why they're undefeated in the league. And then again, they're just like typical Wingate teams. They guard and they rebound. But they've certainly, play at a faster pace. They've got pretty similar to Anderson in the sense that they've got a lot of guys that can go off the bounce, but also a lot of guys that can shoot the ball. And they do a nice job of driving, forcing help, and playing for one another. Haskins is shooting 57% from the three-point line and averaging over 22 points a game. And you just go down the list. There's guys. Frankie Johnson's leading the league in assists and steals by a pretty large margin. He's been one of the best point guards in the league, coming in as a transfer from Citadel. Josh Schertz averaging almost 14 points a game. He was a freshman and doing a really good job. They could arguably have the player of the year, the freshman of the year in the league, and again, there's just Dawkins kid has played well for them. They got size with Quantra Taylor. They've got depth off the bench, Robertson and Hobas and Hubner. So I mean, it's a good basketball team. We'll have to certainly be more sound defensively to give ourselves a chance to be successful. But I think it's a different but somewhat similar challenge, which I think is a good thing coming off last night, where if you can't contain the ball against Wingate, you have 0% chance of beating them. So we'll see if we can get better between now and then, and hopefully come out with a little better mind frame and determination on the defensive end on Saturday.